It's time for an update from the ENCA Money Desk. Devin Morgan with us this lunchtime. And Devin, more employment stats out, and as always, not a pretty picture.
Now, it's going to take some time before we have a huge improvement in this country on the jobs front. Good afternoon, Tembekile. So let me tell you what the number means. So basically, Tembekile, this particular number is not the unemployment number. It tells you what the different sectors of the economy, Tembekile, is doing in terms of creating jobs. Here's your number for the period between April and June 2019. That's the second quarter. 2,000 jobs lost. Your total number of people employed is 10,172,000. Minuscule, and that number, obviously, we would like it to be high in terms of the number of people employed. We had 2,000 jobs lost in the period, but if you look at it this time last year, the number is actually up by about 1.5%. So, you know, if there's anything that's good about it, is that there is not a decrease, there's an increase. But let's just zone in, Tembekile, a bit more on what the sectors are doing. Manufacturing still hurting quite a bit. 15,000 jobs lost in the period between April and June. The same goes for business services, round about the same amount. And just below trade, you'll see construction, 9,000 jobs lost between April and June. Again, these are some of these industries that are hurt by your lack of confidence, your policy uncertainty, and the fact that the economy just isn't growing. And when you look at it, it tells you which of the sectors are losing those jobs. So were there any gains in this particular print? Community services, 44,000 jobs created between April and June this year. You'll know we had the election in May, so we've got casuals entering the services here. This is government workers, essentially. So I'm afraid, although you see that increase of 44,000, doesn't say much because most of those workers will not be in the working frame in the next few months. They're casual, basically.
Something else that's caused quite an upset is this deal between the dairy company Clover and Milko. Unions not happy at all about that.
Yes, indeed. And as you say, this trade was actually, given the thumbs up. And we'll talk about that in a second. Can I just bring in another very important story, if I may?
Oh, please do.
That's the issue of Capitec. I mean, we've been talking about the banking sector strike. But get this, Capitec is actually bucking the banking retrenchment trend. It plans to employ 600 new workers. And that's, as it reported, the 20% jump in interim profits. So Capitec has also increased the number of clients using digital services, Tembekile, from 4.7 million to 6.8 million. Now, the uptick in digital banking has been cited as one of the reasons why banks are reducing their floor space, retrenching staff, and you see the planned strikes at the moment, which was actually interdicted. But Capitec saying its digital expansion is actually creating the need to hire more people. In fact, it added 200,000 new clients a month over the past 6 months. Now it's brought its client base to 12.6 million active customers. So indeed, a very interesting story.
So Capitec, still very much a game changer. I mean, I remember when they came in, they targeted the low-income earners. I want us to go back very quickly before we wrap up to that Clover deal with Milko. I was saying unions are not at all impressed.
No, they're not. And here's the story behind it. Unions are unhappy about the Competition Tribunal's decision to approve the acquisition of the country's largest dairy company, Clover, by Milko SA. Now, Milko SA's majority shareholder is Central Bottling Company in Tel Aviv, Israel. COSATU saying it will consider taking legal action against this decision. On Wednesday, the Competition Tribunal, of course, as we said, announcing that the deal has been given the go-ahead, subject to conditions relating to employment, local procurement, and information sharing. Milko SA offered to buy 100% of Clover in February this year, with a price tag 4.8 billion rand. COSATU saying that decision by the Competition Tribunal should have been rejected. The proposed takeover should have been rejected purely on the basis that it's impacting on jobs. Prior to the ruling, Clover had confirmed that the Competition Tribunal would cut 277 jobs. Meanwhile, the Food and Allied Workers Union raising concern about the impact on local suppliers. So let's very quickly take a look at the markets.
Let's do that.
Yeah, so remember we had this whole issue about the US and China in dispute over trade. Well, the sentiment has changed. The on-off tension has turned good. That's why you see the all share following the international markets up more than 0.75%. Also, we were talking banking strikes. That's been averted. So what happens? The banking share starts going up. You can see financials up just under 2%. Let's turn our attention to the rand. It's a similar story because we've got internationally good sentiment. Look at that. It was above 15 rand to the US dollar just hours ago. It's now gone back below that 15 rand mark. Currently, for a US dollar tembikile, you'll pay 14 rand 97, 16.36 for a euro. And I'm not quite sure if the Duke and Duchess are still in town. Are they?
They ought to have left today, I think,
right.
or late yesterday.
They would be exchanging their currency for 18 rand 48 cents to get a British pound.
I'll tell you who's not travelling anytime soon. That would be me, Devin Morgan from the ENCA Money Desk. For now, thank you.